Welcome to another episode of Game Jockeys, the Lazarus Podject. My name is Eric. I'm here with Tyler.
Hey.
Jared.
Yo.
Curtis.
Hey.
Kelly.
Hey.
And Barkley.
Yo.
Nice big crew for the San Diego Comic-Con podcast. There's been a lot of reveals this week. We'll start probably with The Walking Dead. Had probably the biggest impact for me because I was really skeptical about the Fear the Walking Dead until I saw the trailer, and it got me super excited about it. What do you guys think?
I agree. I was very out to lunch with the whole Fear the Walking Dead, and just the idea of a spin-off was bad news to me. But no, the trailer definitely sold me on it. I can't wait to see the origins, kind of see how it explains to where we are in, I guess, season 6 of the regular Walking Dead. Plus the setting of LA is exciting too.
Absolutely. I'm really excited because I was like you were saying, I was really unsure about, especially with the title. The title was just
still
Fear the Walking Dead guy.
Yeah, that was not original.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It just seemed really dull. And then I watched the trailer, and I think it's got the opportunity here and the possibility of actually being better than the Walking Dead TV show that we have now, merely because they're starting at the beginning where the Walking Dead doesn't. They don't have any source material that they have to try and pay homage to, so they're not going to have fans getting all outright upset because, it doesn't line up with the comics. They didn't do that in the comics. They have full creative freedom with this TV show, and they have a whole different cast. We get introduced to a whole other family and how they're going to survive during this, and it just looks phenomenal from I'm super hyped for it. Yeah, super hyped.
I always felt The Walking Dead was kind of an inconsistent show.
Very much.
And so hopefully, this new outlook, this new setting, starting it off from day one of the virus. I hope that.
And just continuing on to what you're saying, answering more questions, right? Because there's so many questions to the actual Walking Dead series where you're just like, what's going on? Hopefully with the Fear of the Walking Dead, they're actually going to be like, okay, this is setting up for what happened in the actual Walking Dead season, right? Yeah. So hopefully that all pans out.
Well, we know that the Walking Dead characters and the Fear of the Walking Dead characters are not going to meet at all.
Right.
They're going to be separate the whole way through. But that being said, you're right. I hope it does answer a lot more questions, and it will be great to see like how everything starts out and how it got so bad so fast.
Right.
Like why the military wasn't able to handle it, or why it got so overwhelming so fast, and we're take us to where we are now with The Walking Dead.
I'm probably going to get a lot of dislikes for this, but I'm over zombies.
Oh, I'm
done with them.
I absolutely agree. Zombies is overdone, but The Walking Dead's kept me interested because it's one of the few things that's still really good about it, zombies. There hasn't been a lot of really good zombie movies or video games other than Dying Light.
Last of Us.
Last of Us was very.
But Last of Us was it zombies though? Because it was more. It was a neat take on zombies. So I don't know if I fully classify it into zombies.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes it so unique, right? It's another. It's not just a random, like he's saying, I'm tired of zombies.
Zombies, not zombies.
Right. They made it a unique version of it.
Yeah.
Really, it was. Sorry to interrupt you there. Really, with The Last of Us, it was back to going. It was good to going back to the whole origin of where zombies came from, which was legends in Cambodia and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm not a fan of The Walking Dead. I think I watched the episode. I couldn't get into it, but I really enjoy Telltale Games, The Walking Dead.
Yes,
which is unusual.
Yes, that's true. And then they showed season 6 trailer, which now season 5, the first half of it was really mediocre. Like it started out really strong with the cannibals. And then it just ended on a really bad note with the death of Beth.
Yeah, no, the hospital.
The whole hospital thing. It was horribly done. Yeah. And then they picked it up when they came back from the mid-season finale. They picked it up. They went forward, and they took us to a greater height than where they've been. Like The Walking Dead, like Barkley said, was very inconsistent. Has a lot of low points with very few really high points. The high points that come have been few and far between, and sometimes they're just not done well enough. Yeah. But this next season looks like it's going to be just a roller coaster of emotion with tons and tons of twists and turns along the way.
Yeah, the big thing with the inconsistencies is that they've had, 4 showrunners in 6 seasons?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they've had a new showrunner pretty much every season. But with the one they have now, Scott Gimple has been on it for 4 and 5 are now going to be 6.
Yeah.
So now they actually have a direction now.
I truly hope we get to see Daryl Dixon die.
Yes.
I would like to see Daryl die. I want to see the outrage of... Have you guys all read the comics, though?
No.
Yes,
Most of
I
them.
follow.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
follow the comics.
so one thing that I would like to see, and if you haven't read the comics, sorry, this is a spoiler, I would like to see Carl get shot in the head.
yes,
Yes.
I would like
absolutely,
to see that
yes.
happen. I love Carl, like in the show, he's become...
Well, him getting shot just was a whole. It just turned everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It changed everything.
That's one of the few times where I physically took my comic book and threw it across the room. I was like, no, that did not just happen.
Well, I was sitting on the toilet while I was
Wow.
reading it, so I could throw it, but it's just going to hit the door and come back at me. So. Oh, what the? But that was a really huge point in the books. I love the comic a lot, and I like where they're going with the TV show now. But I mean, you have Daryl, who is an unknown variable because he's not in the comics. He's just a fan favorite.
He's Norman Reedus.
He's Norman Reedus.
Everyone loves Norman Reedus, but I find Daryl actually a very cool character.
He's a very deep character.
He's very and Norman does a very good job at it.
Yes, he
Like,
does.
you can't take that away from Norman. He's very good at acting Daryl. He's
Absolutely.
and acting at Daryl.
Daryl.
No,
God,
but like, going back to talking about inconsistency, one thing that I feel that Walking Dead shines with is characters and unique. Like, you have Michonne, you have Norman Reedus with Daryl, the governor. Like, those are all characters you're just like, cool. And who here, honestly, with the governor coming around, you're just like, I want this guy dead.
Oh yeah.
I want this guy dead, right?
not as much as Joffrey, but yeah.
I don't think everyone is much
I've learned to
as
hate
Joffrey.
characters.
With speaking of Joffrey, when he actually became the king,
Yep.
and in the TV show, George R. Martin actually sent the actor a
Yeah.
letter that said, "Congratulations, you are now the most hated person in the world."
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
And I guess after that part, he no longer wants to act.
Yeah.
He is done with acting.
It'd be hard to top that. for
Well,
sure.
absolutely, and not to mention, me
You behave,
personally,
yeah.
it's hard for me to sometimes distinguish an actor from a character, especially when they did such a good job as that character,
Yeah.
and I emotionally hated them with all my being.
Could you imagine him being the protagonist in another series?
I couldn't do
It's
it.
like, I have to like him now.
Complete 180, right?
See, that's the thing.
First episode, he saves a puppy.
That's not right!
The guy that played Shane in the first couple,
John Bernthal.
John Bernthal.
Yeah.
Every movie he's been in, he's kind of been a prick,
Oh yeah.
And he's so good at it.
and he's so good at it. And so now, what happens if he wants to do a show where he's not a prick?
Well, he's been cast as Frank
Punisher,
Castle.
Punisher. So
Which I
he'll
think-
still be kind of a prick.
I think it's an awesome casting
Yeah.
on their part. I think they struck gold with that.
I think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Everything he's been casted in, really.
He's
he was
awesome.
good
He
Yeah,
was,
he's just an
I
amazing
loved him in
actor.
Fury.
Yeah.
everyone in Fury was good casting.
Yeah.
Oh
you know,
man,
it's-
Fury was a fantastic movie.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I took the time to sit down and watch it. That is right up there with like Saving Private Ryan for me.
Yeah.
But going back to like the prick actor, like, you know, like, not so much the actor but the characters. Could you imagine if you're someone like Joffrey who has to go to a con? You're sitting there, you're signing autographs, and some people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, you're awesome, thanks for shaking hand," but you're gonna get that one fan who still thinks that you're Joffrey, right? And it's just gonna tear you one. You know, you gotta feel bad for those guys. Even like think of off of Harry Potter.
Snape?
Malfoy.
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 You know, like Tom.
Is that why he always cancels?
Oh yeah.
Every time he's come to a fan expo, he's always canceled.
Yeah.
I think he's actually made
There's
it.
Jake Lloyd, who was Anakin in the first Star Wars.
Right.
That just
And-
ruined his
And
life.
it literally ruined his life, and now he's like in trouble with the law. And,
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't imagine, going to an audition and them saying, you have to play this character that everyone's going to hate.
Yeah.
Like, how would you deal with that?
I don't know. Jared met the governor. How was that for you?
He was really great at it.
Well, I met Herschel, right? Like Herschel
Yeah.
was really cool. But like that being said, like you kind of feel bad for these actors, just for like the other guy from American Pie, when the very first American Pie.
Oh,
And now he's known as the Pie Fucker, right? Like
Oh,
that's
Jason Biggs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason Biggs.
Yeah.
That sticks with you forever, right? Like,
Yeah.
and you just gotta like, should I have done that role or should But then
Would
the
you have
bucket
ever
check
made a name not doing it? Though?
Right, that's just it, right? So I guess those are the kind of hum and haws that an actor has to.
Yeah, that's not
convey,
the
right?
actor's problem. Then that's the fans' problem.
Right.
The fans need to get over Joffrey being Joffrey. I can't know the actor's name offhand.
Yeah. Well, that's like the chick who played Cersei, right?
Yeah.
Oh man,
Keedy.
yeah. I don't remember her first name, but
Lana.
oh man, she's another character I freaking just want to tear apart.
Yeah, but that's great acting.
Oh, and she does a good job.
So good.
Well, I mean, she goes from she played Sarah Connor in the Terminator TV
Right.
show, and then which was a great TV show, and now she's doing Cersei, and she was in Dread.
Yeah.
So,
She was also in not Alexander. Was it
Spartacus.
Spartacus?
Yeah.
She was.
Yeah. Well, Spartacus has a lot of characters coming over to other TV shows.
That's the truth.
Which, speaking of those guys, they've shown Arrow's new costume.
Right.
And he's apparently taking on the name Green Arrow in the new season, which is pretty exciting for me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
is that the
just-
same
It's
person?
neat.
Yeah, they're the same person. Stephen Amell has a whole new costume, and he's becoming
Yeah.
Green Arrow now.
This is a joke.
You know what? Suck it. I haven't.
You know it's a good joke, and you have to tell the person.
Just went right over his head. He's trying to jump to hit it.
Or
Nothing goes over my head.
my reflexes are too fast.
That's
But,
the best character ever.
Yeah, but they released that at the Comic-Con, right?
Yeah, they did that at Comic-Con. They've also announced for The Flash that they're bringing in Zoom,
Right.
who is another variant of one of the speedsters.
Right.
He's kind of like one of the other reverse Flashes, but he's faster than all the Flashes before him.
It's just going to be awesome.
Yeah, and they're also casting in Wally West, so we might see a second Flash.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
hope.
And we
Yeah.
know for sure that Killer Frost is making her appearance.
Wouldn't Reverse Flash just be a guy who walks real slow?
You would think so.
right?
It would make
Slow
sense.
man.
He can run backwards.
I also,
fast.
I also imagine we're going to see a lot more of the Rogues, especially with Zoom being a part of it, because the Rogues play a big part in that. I'd also like to see a lot more. I'd like to see Captain Boomerang make a comeback, because his run was way too short and sweet in Arrow and Flash.
Just because I know you're a big GL fan, or JL, with that coming out, give me some of your thoughts on the Flash costume itself, the latest one that they just released.
The latest one? I don't know if I've actually seen the latest one.
Okay, they did it on a Reddit, and it actually looks back to like the Allen days and like actual comic. Like it looks
Oh, that's sweet.
legit, right? With like the lighting coming on the side, but it looks really, really well done, and I'm super pumped to see that.
Well, that I like. I mean, I like the one that they have now that Barry wears,
Yeah,
but I would like to see more of the original look come back.
and that's what I think they did.
And that's same with the Green Arrow. Like Green Arrow's look is more to the Injustice style, and I like the Injustice style
That's
outfit
cool.
that he wore.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he's not getting the Robin Hood tights. I would have been really upset. As funny as it would have been, I would have been upset to see him in Robin Hood tights.
I think the problem with comic book to live action is, I mean, the costumes look fine in print, but then when you try to transfer that over, as we learned in the 90s,
Yeah.
it doesn't look so good. So I think they're redesigning a lot of costumes, and I see a lot of the classic ones coming back and actually looking real slick. And
Well, and technology plays a factor to that too, right?
Yeah.
There's new.
Oh, go ahead, finish.
No, that's
Yeah, and like the big thing with like these heroes were largely developed and created in like the 70s and the 80s when like that was the cool style, and that has
60s.
yeah even
60s,
sooner for a lot,
50s,
Yeah.
and like that was cool then, and that's changed over the last 65
Oh,
years.
yeah.
I mean, a perfect example is, I mean, look at Wolverine's costume from like the 80s and 90s, the bright yellow
Yeah.
costume. I mean,
Which is
I don't.
coming back actually.
Yeah.
Like Hugh Jackman is wearing the yellow brown one, so that's
I can't wait for that.
It's gonna be
That's gonna
good.
sweet.
gonna be good.
But I think if we tried doing this like even in the early 2000s, I think it would have come off
Oh,
as really cheesy.
Big fail.
and,
Big fail.
I also saw that they confirmed that the Wolverine standalone is Old Man Logan story.
Logan, which is awesome.
I haven't read it myself, but I've heard a lot of
Isn't
good
this
things about it.
one of Hugh Jackman's last?
It is his last one.
Yeah,
it's his last
It's
one.
the last Wolverine
He's not in
movie.
Apocalypse.
He's in Apocalypse, but the Wolverine movie takes
Okay.
place after
Standalones,
Apocalypse.
It's
Um,
the last one until they show up on his lawn
Yeah.
with a truck full of money.
Yeah, no,
Again.
yeah,
Full
that's
money.
true. But they also,
Again.
but also being a GL fan, they've announced the Green Lantern Corps movie, which there's also rumors that Chris Pine's going to be taking up the headline. Now it's not confirmed, but the concept art they showed at the San Diego Comic-Con the guy looks pretty close to Chris Pine.
I
Someone who I'd like to see finally get the role is Glenn Howerton.
Yeah.
He was Dennis from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
right.
He was the number one choice for Star-Lord in Guardians, and then Chris Pratt took that from him. And then in Jurassic World, Glenn Howerton was also the number one choice again, which Chris Pratt also took from
Chris
him
Pratt's
again.
bitch.
Basically.
They are rivals now.
Yeah. But I would like to see Glenn Howerton take up the Green Lantern.
Well, if they're doing the core, that means we have a chance to see all 4 of the human Green Lanterns make their place. You've got Hal Jordan, the original. You've got Guy Gardner. You've got Jon Stewart, who I would love to see on the big screen. And Kyle Rayner. Just same thing.
Every time Jon Stewart comes out from the Daily Show,
Daily
that would be the best Green Lantern
Yeah.
ever.
That'd be the best anything ever.
Yes.
He would just nail Braga Ball. What the
That'd be good. I just hope they do it justice, because the last Green Lantern movie was so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They took too much. They put too much into the movie, and it was too inconsistent. Like, Ryan Reynolds did a decent job as Hal,
Yeah.
but the fact that they had Parallax, which is arguably one of the most dangerous entities out there for the Green Lanterns, and they had, tried doing the Sinestro story at the same time, but at the same time failed at doing it.
Well, yeah, because there was so much hype at the very end with Sinestro getting the yellow, right?
Yeah,
You're just
but there was nothing throughout the whole movie that even built up to it, or even
Right.
hinted at it, and that was the problem.
and then now you have that hype and it's rebooting. So you're just like, and I won't get that.
Well,
It's like Spider-Man reboots on reboots on
every
reboots.
every 3 years, man. Presidential election, Spider-Man reboot.
I mean, now that Marvel has the rights back to them to an extent, of course. I mean,
Yeah, they don't have full rights, right? They're just
No.
for certain movies.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really good Spider-Man movie.
On the other hand, though, that's going to cause such a gong show down the road. Because Sony still has rights as well, to do. So does Marvel. So there's going to be 2 different Spider-Man universes
Same as
potential.
Quicksilver.
But that reminds me of a really funny comment I saw when they announced that Spider-Man was going to be on Sony and Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy who commented, he's like, I had a day set to explain to my kid why Quicksilver was in these 2 movies. Now I got to set another day to explain why Spider-Man's in 2 separate movies.
Yeah.
Honestly, I prefer the Avengers Quicksilver to the more comical one. I thought the Avengers one stayed more true to the character.
Yeah?
Yes, I like the Avengers.
I like the
one better.
Avengers one too.
Yeah.
But you don't have to worry about him because he's dead now.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think that the one from the X-Men I thought was well done, and he was a good portrayal of it. But I grew up with the Quicksilver from the Avengers, the more
older one,
serious
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Darks.
The one that hung out with the Inhumans. and the
serious to a
Brotherhood.
fault type of thing.
Yeah.
Which, speaking of the Inhumans, they've announced for the next season of Marvel's Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I recommend if you guys haven't been keeping up with it, take the time to catch up with it because it's a really good show.
For me, I haven't even started watching.
I'll start that first episode.
The
any
first-
day now.
Well, honestly,
Yeah.
the first 3/4 of the first season is the first 3 episodes are good, and then it's really, really slow, and then Winter Soldier, and then the episode that takes place after Winter Soldier, it just full speed ahead again. And then season 2, same thing. It just keeps going throughout the entire season. They set up for the Inhumans, and in the new season, they're actually introducing a new Inhuman that just showed up in the comics recently, but named Lash.
Lash, right?
Yeah, he's showing up. He's going to be. They're not sure if he's going to be a villain or what his part's going to play.
Yeah, he's kind of
anymore.
neutral, isn't he? You
Yeah.
never know, really.
Well, he's out trying to create his own group of Inhumans, and Black Bolt keeps putting a stop to it because I was reading a little bit of a synopsis, and I guess there was one main point where he's in one of the major cities trying to gather up all the Inhumans that he can after Black Bolt releases the Terrigen Mist throughout all of New York, I believe it was, or Manhattan, and he's out there trying to stop it, and Medusa ends up stopping him from getting there. So I'm excited to see the next season. I'm also excited for Agent Carter, but I haven't seen much of them talking about that either.
The first season of Agent Carter was really slow to begin with, and I didn't think it was actually going to go anywhere. But I think it ended with a.
It was very good. I
Good note.
really enjoyed it.
Isn't it in that kind of red zone a lot of threat to not
It was.
continue?
It was, and it came out. It came out with a
Marvel threw more money at
pretty much.
ABC.
$1 bills. $1 bills.
It must be nice to know that you're getting funded by like a company that has endless amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, like you can just do anything. You
Every
want.
project they're making within the next 5 years is going to make just scat.
It's unfathomable how much money they have.
Well,
Yeah, exactly.
there was a rumor floating around a couple years ago that Disney's next acquisition was going to be Hasbro, which owns Transformers
And Ninja Turtles.
and Ninja Turtles.
so they can
Wow.
make reboots of those movies.
So what you're saying is Disney's just going to own everything that we love.
Well, Disney's going to own the Western,
Implying they don't
Continents?
already. I
Yeah.
mean,
but
they
yeah,
have
Western
their fingers
Hemisphere,
in so
and
many.
like Nintendo or EA or someone's going to own the other end.
It's gonna come down to Google and Disney trying
Yeah,
to buy
Google.
each other.
Megacorps. Megacorps.
That'd be like kind of like when Activision tried to buy Blizzard, and Blizzard's like, no, we'll partner with you, but you can't afford to buy us.
Yeah. See this pool of money I'm sitting in?
And you can't tell me there's not a Walt Disney army out there somewhere.
Oh,
a,
that's-
secret underground army that training and getting ready for
They're all fucking
for the
they're all
war.
Iron Man suits and
For
shit like that.
Mickey Mouse with the Mickey Mouse
Yeah,
For
insignia.
the
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse Wars.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse Wars.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a whole Holocaust.
That's what
all
they'll
over
learn.
again.
100 years from now.
Back to that
The great,
topic.
the great Mickey Mouse Wars of 2016.
Yeah, it'll be World War III.
Yeah.
World's
I,
best
I,
Disney.
I,
World
accept,
versus Disney.
I accept our new Disney overlord.
I accept them as well.
So we were talking about costumes. Okay, let's get to the major point. San Diego Comic-Con released Batman's armor costume in full now, right?
Yep.
I like everything about Ben Affleck as Batman.
As do I. Ben Affleck is, I think he gets way too much flack for how good of an actor and director he is, and I think he's going to be the one who actually plays both a good Bruce Wayne and a good Batman.
Yeah.
Because it's always one or the other. They either play a really good Bruce Wayne or a really good Batman.
Well, I've said from day one, once he got all his bad hype, we'll say, I said, one of his good friends is Kevin Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Kevin Smith is a diehard Batman fan, so I guarantee you, not only would Ben Affleck not want to fail at it, Kevin Smith would never let him fail at it.
No, and
So-
Kevin Smith said right out on top when Ben Affleck was announced, I'm behind him 110%.
Well, absolutely, and I've always been too. Like, I think he's going to be great. He's got the good chin line.
Yeah.
So
Perfect for Superman to punch him in.
Yeah.
Well, when they first announced the movie and there was talk about Ben Affleck, I remember people were all complaining about how he can't pull off the Batman look and whatnot. And then
Right.
somebody posted a screenshot of a scene from Daredevil. And if you just painted that mask black, it would have been Batman.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck is literally Batman. Like he is.
Well, no,
It's-
Adam West is
Well,
Yeah.
it would literally be Batman because Batman's not real.
He actually believes it.
But I think Ben Affleck is.
Adam West should just have
He was
Batman.
definitely a cast that I never thought of.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that he's been casted because, like, especially after watching the trailer, I still have some things I'm cautious about, like the having too many characters, kind of throwing it in there too fast.
That's your thing, right?
Yeah.
But-
Well, there's a lot
It
going
is
on.
a big issue. It's not like the Avengers. Like the Avengers had a lot of characters,
Right.
but we had backstory for all those characters. We had emotional connection to all those characters. So they even pushed that line a little bit. It was almost too many characters still for them.
Right.
But we're getting Batman, Superman, Lex Luthor, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, rumors of Cyborg, rumors of Flash, rumors of Joker showing up. Like that's a lot of characters to be throwing into one movie, and it's no different than Suicide Squad.
Which Joker is showing up? Do they?
Leto.
It is
It
Leto.
is, Leto is the Joker for the
Okay.
DC universe now.
Okay.
And after hearing his little sound bit, I am 100% behind him.
I like it. It actually was very creepy,
It was.
and he pulled it really well off.
Oh, he's the first Joker that actually reminds me of
Joker.
the comic Joker.
Yeah.
Not, Heath Ledger's Joker, and this is a conversation me and Jared were having on the way here, that, Heath Ledger's Joker was good,
Mhm.
but there was still something missing for him being Joker.
Yeah.
Like, Joker, like, he's both an easy character to play as, but he's a complex character.
Well,
Because he's easy because he has so much to go with.
but I
But complex because you have to go with.
I think the idea of Joker is easy, but in concept of trying to actually pull it off is a lot harder than anything.
Well,
Yeah.
the Joker had, like, most characters, they're like, this character does this, acts this way when faced with this situation. The Joker doesn't. The Joker just does
what he does.
what he wants.
Well, and John DiMaggio, who did the voice of Joker in Under the Red Hood, said it the best is when you become the Joker, you have to go to a part of you that you even scares yourself. Like, you have to go to the darkest pits of your soul.
We call those the bowels.
Because it's beyond even being edgy. I mean, there's being edgy, there's being gritty, and then there's being the Joker. He's beyond all of that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's true. That's very
He
true.
is the symbol of pure insanity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, yeah, going back to Ledger's Joker, like, he was good at it.
Oh,
It was a great Joker, but at the same time, it felt more like it was someone trying to be the Joker.
Right.
You know what I mean? It didn't feel like it was the real Joker. It was just someone.
I feel like if we'd had this conversation a month ago, or say like 3 weeks ago on the cast, you'd say Jared Leto was a fucking terrible idea, and that the Joker looked contrived. That was your literal words. So now when you sing his praises, it pisses me off.
I still think his tattoos look really contrived, though.
I'm fine with the tattoos. I think it's a nice change.
I hope it's really good.
It's
I really
a unique
do.
concept, right?
Yes.
And we talked about this with The Walking Dead and stuff like that. It's all original and it's unique takes on characters.
Yeah.
And I again with Jared Leto, it's a different. You can't judge between Jared's, Heath's, and even Jack Nicholson's Joker because they're all completely different
And they're all good.
and they're all very well done.
Yeah, they're good.
Well, we have yet to actually see because we haven't seen Jared Leto actually
Yes.
play the
Yeah.
Joker.
For the bits that
but
we've
from
seen.
what we've seen,
It's not going to be bad though, right? If it was, they just wouldn't do the movie, or they'd find someone else.
Well, the part of the DC
Morgan.
universe I'm really torn on is
anybody else
Deadshot.
remember Green Lantern?
That was a different time, though. I mean, the Joker's a villain that they can't allow to flop. He's too big name now.
He's the Norman Reedus of the DC.
He's the Norman Reedus. They should get Norman Reedus to play Joker. And Batman.
Oh my God.
It's just
Willem
all-
Dafoe just comes in for some reason too.
I would like to see Willem Dafoe
Every
try
extra
Joker.
is Norman Reedus in the background.
Sean Patrick
think
Flannery just comes by.
I think Willem Dafoe would make a good, like, Riddler or something.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe, I
Yeah.
think he could do a Joker.
I think he could do pretty much any villain.
I've always said from day one, if Batman was going to have a Riddler as a villain in a movie, I think Johnny Depp would be the perfect Riddler.
As long as it's not,
Christopher Walken.
as long as it's not Johnny Depp playing Captain Jack Sparrow.
No, granted, that being said, he does tend to do the whole Jack Sparrow thing, so he has to really do the riddle.
What if it's
But
Johnny Depp playing Captain Jack Sparrow playing the Riddler?
Then you've pretty much got the Mad Hatter from Alice in Wonderland.
What about Christopher Walken?
Why don't we just throw Tonto in there too?
What an awful show.
Oh, Kimmel, stop
Well, as far as characters go, with the Suicide Squad, I'm torn on Deadshot. Because I'm a huge fan of Will Smith. But I don't think Deadshot is black. It's almost like what they did with Daredevil. They just tried to kind of slide
A character that
a character,
roll
like,
in.
yeah, you know,
Yeah.
and hope nobody would notice that the Kingpin wasn't.
Like, I mean, I don't.
I don't mind.
I'm okay.
Changing
I'm
the
okay.
race.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me too
No.
much.
You just got sold out.
I think you're just a racist. I'm just gonna throw it out there
I'm just saying, he's in a dark room. I can't see him very well.
until he smiles.
Cut it.
The only issue I have with Will Smith as it is that he hasn't been the great the last few years.
No.
His last few movies have been garbage.
Mediocre.
He's
What was he
been
in?
After Earth, which is
After-
horrendous.
Focus was his last movie.
But I
Yeah.
think really what Will Smith is doing is he's done his movies, right? He's done his, massive Wild Wild West,
Independence Day.
Independence Day,
Men in Black.
Men in Blacks, 1, 2, 3,
Fresh Prince.
Like, let's just throw that out there, Fresh Prince. But I think what he is doing now is he's sitting back. He's the family guy. He wants his kids to start doing more stuff, so he's trying to
But
promote
his
them.
kids are
But we don't
talented.
want his kids to do stuff.
I know.
I don't know. James Smith was good in The Karate Kid.
Oh yeah, he was in that.
He
He was
was.
pretty
Yeah,
good. in
hey,
that.
Yeah. I
But-
love Jack.
He looks
One more
surprised.
thing, Jackie.
He always looks surprised no matter what.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And thank God he left Twitter.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
What happened
yeah.
on Twitter?
How can mirrors be real if her eyes aren't real?
Well,
and those are
What?
all. It's like, how are shoes? And that's his entire tweet.
Who's that?
There's always a
really?
capital letter. Each word is capitalized, and
Yeah.
each word has a period at the end.
Yeah.
And
But
that's-
he's done that, right? He's
yeah.
not going back.
No,
so
he's done.
we're okay. Don't worry about that. People that haven't seen it, don't worry.
And you know Will Smith scolded him on all his Twitter.
I hope he
Sure.
did. I hope
Mr.
so.
Took off the belt.
Oh god. So
Deny.
Will Smith is a very talented actor. I think
He
he
is.
can-
Oh, he's
Pull
always
it off.
talented. Very
I love Will Smith.
I am excited to see the Suicide
Yeah.
Squad. I do think it's gonna be a hit or miss movie, like very hit and miss, because it's kind of like the Guardians. It's gonna be it's either gonna be really good or it's gonna be really really bad.
And if the Suicide Squad succeeds, they have a bunch of characters that they can use in future movies.
Oh,
That
absolutely.
they develop and that's a platform for
And-
them to start.
Absolutely, and there's lots there to go with. Like
Yeah.
you have the
When-
amount of characters that are coming in there. Because isn't Deathstroke supposed to be making an appearance in that one too?
I was just going to ask, when does Deathstroke make appearance?
I'm pretty
Love
sure.
Deathstroke.
I'm pretty
Yes.
sure he's supposed to come into the Suicide Squad
Yeah, I think
because
so too.
aren't they doing like the assault on Arkham basically again?
So this is my theory behind the difference between Marvel and DC, right? We've been talking about DC's going to hammer out all these characters in these things and just let people know what they are and then make backstories, right? Whereas Marvel has done the backstories and it's just going to lead up to one giant, great, big
Well, we call
War.
we call
Well,
we call that DC trying to catch up.
right.
They're basically they're throwing all of their eggs into a basket with Batman vs Superman
Right.
and Suicide Squad. If they flop, they're going to be in hot water.
Well,
But
but then they at least know.
hey, catching up with it. But that's also I like the fact that Ben Affleck he's using the Batman vs Superman movie for his chance because he's doing the standalone Batman movie.
Yeah.
He's going to be directing and acting it.
And we know Ben Affleck is at his best when he's directing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
He's very
Yeah.
good with Argo, all that kind of stuff.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl,
Yeah, that's
Great, best one of my top movies of last year.
Yeah.
mind blowing. It's very well done, put together, very very smooth. That's what I find. The
Dark,
transactions-
surprisingly dark.
very
And
smooth and dark. Yeah.
really, really good when it was doing the twist, like keeping you guessing. Like I usually can figure stuff out pretty quick in most of those movies, but it had me second guessing myself.
There's at least 4 times in the movie where I was like, okay, that's happening.
Yeah.
20 minutes go by, okay, no, that is...
Yeah,
this is what it is.
This is the one
And that,
right
and it's
here.
like Shutter Island for me. I know what's going on.
Yeah, you do the one.
This was not what I thought was going on.
Yeah.
Got
Well,
me
it's like an older movie called Mindhunters with Christian Slater. I don't know if anyone's seen it.
No.
But it's a complete mindfuck. It's one of those movies where like, that person's a killer, and then 5 minutes later they kill him. That person's a killer. 5 minutes later they kill him. It's like they know
you're
who...
bad at this game.
Was that the one where they're stuck in like a warehouse and they're trying
So
to?
like they're FBI agents on an island and they're dying one by one, and one of them's a killer.
I think I've seen that. I think I
And it
have
was a
seen
complete.
that.
And then at the end they're like do something, and you're like, oh, that guy's a killer, and then it's totally not. It's some other guy that.
You would be the worst detective.
Yeah.
No, watch seriously, watch it.
I'm just gonna wait till everyone else is dead.
And then I'll pin the
Yeah,
suspect.
I know it's not me, and I'm alive, and you're still here. So
Seriously, watch it. It's a really good movie.
I
those-
just don't mind Christian Slater.
Well, it's
Yeah.
got Val Kilmer in it for a little bit too.
Weird.
Yeah.
Val Kilmer's good, he just... career took a nosedive.
He aged horribly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Say, speaking of aged horribly, Mark Hamill.
Oh, looks
fantastic.
He is the
Yeah.
best.
He looks phenomenal in the new Star Wars reboot.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I think he...
Speaking of age horribly, he aged fantastic.
That's true. Okay, let's go back to. I thought Mark Hamill's aged terrible, and I thought he was going to be like maybe a cameo in it or something like that because of that age.
Yeah.
But they did such a great job of makeup and everything for him,
Yeah.
and not to be mean to Mark Hamill,
He's an ugly guy.
but
He's not a pretty man.
he looks actually like just an older version of Luke. Like he
Yeah.
does look like he's actually really well done, and I'm so stoked for that.
It's funny.
Before we get into Star Wars, let's finish up with the Batman Superman.
Sure.
Because like
True. Otherwise, Batman, how is it?
yeah, or Batman, we're gonna end up coming back.
Yeah.
But I am excited to see Aquaman on the big screen because I know a lot of people give Aquaman flack, but
Because he talks to fish.
because he talks to fish. But if anyone's gonna make him like a supreme
Here we
badass,
go.
He calls sushi
Jason Momoa's got
Man,
this.
you have the biggest
just
hard
like
on for
Swiss
me.
chalet French.
Oh, I fucking love Momoa.
Jason
Like,
Momoa's just gonna yell at
Like, I
fish.
know you.
He's gonna yell at the dolphins.
There's gonna be a
sharks.
movie of Aquaman fighting like whalers.
Yes. I just want to say like uppercut a shark.
But yeah, cool. I also had a lot of like hate for the fact that they casted Eisenberg. But after
Eisenluther?
But when I saw the trailer, it made me interested.
Are you talking about
I
Hanson?
think it's I don't know. I got a little cringed
Honestly,
at his lines.
I liked
his
his
face.
lines because they made him
His face.
devious.
That wig though.
They gave him
Yeah,
that wig.
That wig though.
we get to see how he loses his hair,
Yeah.
but he does look really devious in it.
Luther
No,
needs to be done right too. Because
Yeah.
Luther's a big name bad guy. I'm not a big fan of him.
Oh, he's just a whiny bitch who's upset because Superman took his spotlight.
Yeah, because he's overshadowed Superman so greatly that no one even notices Lex.
Yeah, Lex Luthor was supposed to be the savior of man, and Superman took his light. Now I will spend my life trying to destroy Superman and make myself look good.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, just
here's the thing. Sorry,
No, go ahead.
but Eisenluther, it has the same thing as what people thought about Heath Ledger with Jack Nicholson. Right?
yes.
You have a huge name with Kevin Spacey, right? And you have to live up to that hype. So you have to try.
Look like the
Waterworld.
House of Cards?
Spacey wasn't in Waterworld.
No,
That's Costner.
Hold on. Whoa. But anyways,
Okay,
like,
but Kevin
I know
Spacey
names.
wasn't that.
It was Kevin Costner as.
Yeah,
a lot of people liked him. Like a lot of people.
Liked him, but then didn't
Who liked him
promote
as Lex
it.
Luthor?
Oh, there's a fan base out there. For sure there is.
Are they very
You have to
underground?
find them.
Okay, I honestly don't think Luther's really had. Honestly, the best Luthor I ever saw was the one from Smallville.
No, I was gonna say that. It's like, oh,
He was my
cancer
favorite
victim.
Luthor. Yeah, but he was my favorite Luthor because he had the charisma and everything.
Everything.
And
no
Yeah,
one
he was
likes
great.
cancer victims.
you just felt bad for him. That's all.
So we don't like Deadpool? He's a cancer victim.
Well, we don't like it. We just enjoy his antics.
He's just an asshole. Who doesn't like an asshole?
The thing with Lex Luthor from Smallville, though, is we
There's a
had.
butt joke in there.
The thing with
I think I'm just gonna sit on it for a minute.
Give him a moment.
The thing with Lex Luthor from Smallville is that we had a few seasons to build that character.
Yeah.
Whereas the Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman, we're gonna have maybe 20 minutes of total airtime or something, or
Yeah.
you know.
True.
He won't have much screen.
So they got to do him well if they're gonna get that character development.
If they're sticking to the comics, I wonder if, because they do have Lex Luthor,
Oh, they've been doing such a great job of keeping to the comics.
so great. But like
The
they always talked about having Lex Luthor and Joker, right? Those are the two villains that Batman and Superman had to fight against.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's what's going to cross over into that
That's possible. Too.
movie, right? Because those are two major villains, and I think if that comes out with Ben Affleck and sorry, I can't remember the guy who plays Superman.
Henry Cavill.
Thank you, Henry.
Look at you.
When they,
Kevin Costner.
No, Kevin
I
Spacey.
wonder if it's going to be that they fight, and then realize that they're not actually the villains, and then turn and actually go after the Luthor and the Joker.
Well-
Very much likely to be the case.
Well, that's if Joker actually shows up, and it's still only
Also,
rumors.
Right.
But they've also changed Luthor altogether. From what I understand, Luthor was not born into a rich family, but he started as a street thug who literally built his empire from the ground up. Like, they've completely redone
If there's
his
anything
Oh, they
Jesse
restructured
Eisenberg is not, that is a convincing street thug.
story. Well, I'm just saying.
Oh, you got my money.
Well, not in the way we think of street thugs, right?
Do you have my money, sir?
But kind of like how the Kingpin in Daredevil is the same idea. Like,
I
he
need to
built
make
himself up.
Facebook right now. Okay?
Want to see a magic trick?
No, but I agree with you. Eric.
Yeah.
So
You're
and
right.
the fact that Gotham and Metropolis are now sister cities in this.
Yeah.
So there's only a body of water that separates them. So there's a lot of things they've changed from the comics as opposed to keeping to the comics. Because like when they make comic book movies, it's basically reading comics for the first time, like starting at like the first one
Yeah.
all over again.
But are they actually going to like? I think they're gonna have some kind of like little hints of the comics for people, but I think they're mainstreaming it so that people that haven't read the comics, they're gonna understand what's happening,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's
engage a wider audience.
Right, and they're trying to go for the audience that doesn't know the comics.
Well, and the nice thing with starting with this one too is they're starting with two main characters who we've seen the origins of Superman and Batman so many times. Like Man of Steel was nice and fresh because it gave people who really didn't watch Smallville or the cartoons or read the comics a quick kind of catch me up to Superman's backstory, and they actually managed to do a half decent Zod for once.
Yeah.
Rip Russell Crowe. Just saying that too. Rip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you didn't.
Way to make that sad. Way to make it real.
I'm sorry.
But I got confused for a minute. Sorry.
I was like, Russell Crowe wasn't Zod. That is Michael Shannon.
No, but Kal-El's dad.
Yeah, while we're on this Man of Steel quickly, what do you think of the new costume in that? Over the old red. And
I actually liked it.
I
wasn't a big fan of wearing your underwear on the outside.
Yeah, it's
okay. From day one, I was always a big fan of Man of Steel. From like the movie itself, I was a big fan of. So
it was Set Destruction, the movie.
yeah,
Feel me in a train.
It was Michael Bay.
Be a bank.
Michael Bay done right, basically.
I'm just glad they don't have him in jeans and a shirt and a towel. I mean, like when the new 52 came out, it was jeans, shirt, and it was like a cape. But it's jeans, really? Like that's not. And then I mean,
Was
okay,
that Superman?
Hipster Superman.
no, it's Superman.
Was it Superman?
Yeah, it
Oh
was
my
Superman.
god.
But then they had a. So they wanted to get away from the underwear thing, right?
Yeah.
So they made him have jeans. But I think give him tights. I mean, he's a superhero.
Or
Everybody
just some
knows.
sort of bodysuit.
Right.
Well, they did that with Wonder Woman. They had a new costume for her in the comics. I don't remember what comic it was, but they had a new comic where she wore pants. And I guess the internet fucking lost its shit.
Yeah.
Because remember, superhero chicks have to be scantily clad.
Yes.
It gives them more armor.
Yes.
how it
That's
works.
right. Yeah.
Look at Power Girl. She's flopping those titties all over the place. Who doesn't want to motorboat that shit?
I mean, it's a defense mechanism.
Look at my boobies while I beat you up.
And there goes our female audience.
Don't worry, Eric is only kidding. Please come back.
Or sandwich making time.
His address is.
Yeah.
We're going
Please
back to
egg his
Superman.
up.
Send all emails to ericgomer@hotmail.com.
Well, some person in this world actually has so many emails.
Because that's not my email. Got him! Got him!
Killing Joke making a they're making an animated movie for Killing Joke. Announced this week at E3 also.
At Comic-Con this week, we got E3 on the brain.
And so at Comic-Con, I've announced that The Killing Joke is being made into an animated movie.
E3 is still awesome, but Comic-Con is the current.
Now tell me, I have not read The Killing Joke myself
There is that.
because I am a failure as a Batman fan.
You haven't read the
I
Killing
have
Joke?
not. I am
God.
the worst human being ever.
Honest to God, really?
Honest to God,
I haven't either.
Excellent. I would love to read it.
I just read it yesterday for the first
I have
time.
not read it.
Nice.
Honestly, I've been meaning to read it. It's been in my mind
It's,
to watch it, read the fucking thing.
When I just watch it.
But you know what?
Just
Soon as you watch it, I'm gonna come over there and cock slap you.
just set it on the table in front of you.
No, it's one of
Good
the.
comic.
It's basically, what I like about The Killing Joke is that it's actually giving background history of Joker.
Yes.
And not just actually Joker himself, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's actually how he became the crazy dude that he is, right?
Where he came from.
Oh,
who
absolutely.
he
And,
is.
and you gotta read it, man. Especially if he's just such a diehard Joker and Batman fan, right? So,
Yeah.
and one of the greatest all-time hit moments of Batman happens in that comic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the Batman after. I was like, what is this?
So,
Product placement.
I don't have my ring on, so
you don't want to be Batman because you don't know The Killing Joke.
just
He has a point.
But yeah, super excited for the animated. I think it's going to be really, really hit or miss again, because the graphic novel itself is such a huge hype and it's a major concept.
Yeah.
If they don't deliver with it, there's going to be that fan base that really just shits on it, right?
I can't see how they wouldn't be able to deliver with it.
It's going to be huge, and I don't know the cast. Do you know the cast at all? Did they say anything?
The only thing is, when Mark Hamill quit with the voice of Joker,
Yeah.
he did say the only way he'd come back is if they did a Killing Joke movie which was just announced.
Yeah.
So the only thing is Mark Hamill might return. It's really the only thing.
If it's not Mark Hamill, it'll probably be Troy Baker.
Nolan
doing
North
it.
is just going
Right.
to voice everyone.
Yeah.
No, Nolan North can't. I don't know. I've never heard of the Joker. It's either Troy Baker or it's going to probably be John DiMaggio.
And would
Yeah.
it be the Batman? Would it be?
I hope it's Conroy.
It,
Yeah, I
it
was
will
gonna say
most likely
Conroy.
be Conroy, but it might be the new guy they've had doing Batman, which I can't fucking remember his name to save my life.
Conroy is just he's Bruce Wayne.
He is Batman.
Yeah.
He is the Batman.
Yeah, there's
Like,
been a lot of like people that have done Batman since we were like what 10
oh, there's
on the
so
on all the cartoons and stuff, and like those are the people that we associate in our generation with Batman,
Well, that's
Joker.
Conroy, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Mark Hamill just is Joker.
I mean, there's Michael Keaton, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's when you always knew that he was the live Batman when
Yeah.
we were growing up. Like that was the set point. And then you had the Val Kilmer and George Clooney. But
Don't choke on that one.
man, that was bad.
Yeah.
But Michael
Everyone
Keaton was the.
jokes on the Clooney.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
Jared just chirped on Clooney.
But Adam West was another good one, right? So
No, I don't think there'll be anything you'll have to worry about them when they do the animated one. I mean,
Yeah.
The only
they did
thing.
huge with the Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns.
that was big.
Oh,
They
that
did a
was so
fantastic job with
good.
that. They did a great job with the Flashpoint Paradox.
What you gotta watch?
They just did the Court of Owls, Batman versus Robin.
They did the Corral.
They did the Court of Owls,
Ooh.
so they did Son of Batman, so you can see Damien.
Seen that.
They've done Justice League War, which is the new 52.
I didn't like that one.
It wasn't bad.
I
they
mean,
did-
obviously it's worth a watch, but it's not my top 5.
no, but that's also new 52, right? They did follow it pretty well, and right after that, then they have the Throne of Atlantis, where they kind of did the introduction to Aquaman again. So I mean, they
Yeah.
But I really don't think they're gonna screw it up. They've done a really good job. DC nails it every time with the animated features.
The animated ones have always
Yeah.
been good.
That's
Like,
one place where I think DC definitely shines over Marvel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Marvel's pretty much out of that altogether. I mean, the last one they really did was like Doctor Strange. Before they just kind of
Didn't they do a Ghost Rider one?
nope.
They've had like the ongoing like Spider-Man.
Well, they've done like the
stuff.
cartoons. Like they did had like a little anime run there with Iron Man. And their
Yeah,
Marvel
they
stuff.
had a bunch of anime.
Which the
Yeah, no.
Wolverine was terrible, but the Blade and the X-Men one weren't bad. The Iron Man was very mediocre,
Well,
but
they were all passable. I mean,
Yeah.
I really like Ultimate Spider-Man.
Ultimate Spider-Man's
And that's
hilarious.
the thing, right? They I think Marvel focuses on TV series instead of
Yeah.
just the one shot.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And I think that's where Marvel excels instead of
DC.
and DC excels the one
Well,
shot.
DC had Young Justice, but then they cut it
Yeah.
after 2 seasons. Young Justice was awesome,
Yeah.
and I would love to see a season 3.
It was good, but they can't compete to something like the Avengers or Ultimate Spider-Man, like you said.
Yeah.
And Ultimate Spider-Man's a unique concept because as adults we're like, okay, that's pretty cool because it's still got some pretty good jokes that we like.
Yeah.
Where and even for a 5-year-old, like
Yeah.
a 5-year-old loves Spider-Man, right? And he's beating up bad guys, and so that's what they go for.
But I think you're wrong. I think Young Justice competes perfectly fine with Spider-Man because it has both sides of the spectrum covered. Because all the sidekicks, it's basically a new generation for Teen Titans.
Right, it's like Teen Titans, but but Teen Titans excel because it's more cartoony.
Yeah.
Whereas Young Justice, it seems like it's more
It's done the same
animated for adults.
It's done the same animation form as Ultimate Spider-Man. They're exactly the same style animation. There isn't much difference between the two.
There's a
But
bit.
Disney proves once again if you throw enough money at something, it'll be successful.
True. But also, Young Justice was on Cartoon Network, which was another issue.
Which is, again, trying to appease for more teenagers and adults, right? So, I don't know. But...
Powerpuff Girls was on...
Courage
I
the
still
Cowardly-
watch Powerpuff.
Courage the Cowardly Dog was on Cartoon Network,
Exactly.
and that gives grown men nightmares.
So, it's creepy, that show. That old man on that show, man,
Yeah.
still makes me go...
They make some weird cartoons over the years.
for sure. Yeah.
Cat dog.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Yes.
Rocco's
Dark and twisted as fuck.
Yeah.
Is it ever?
Yeah.
It was
so
basically
good.
the new generation of Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Like we grew up watching like Ren and Stimpy, Rocco's Modern Life. What was the other?
Duckman.
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 Duckman. Oh my
Howard the
god.
Duck movie, though.
We
Yeah,
don't want to talk
that'd be-
about that. I just watched it
I
actually
hope they
recently.
cast a real duck.
Yeah.
No, face the camera.
Disney can make it work.
Disney
Throw
would,
money
yeah.
at it.
They've already said they're not going to do a Howard the Duck movie. It was
Yeah.
just for a joke.
Exactly.
Thank Christ. Although, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I would watch
I'd
it.
watch it. I'd watch it in a heartbeat.
Day one.
Day one.
Day one.
Absolutely.
It's a classic, even though it's not good. It's still
But I just mentioned. I heard you mentioning Blade. Now that being said,
Yes, Wesley Snipes
Mr.
is...
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes
Mr.
has
Wesley
been in
Snipes.
talks
in
with
talks.
Marvel about doing a Blade reboot. I don't know how I feel about that because Blade 1 and 2 were awesome. Blade 3 was terrible. But I don't know if I want to see Wesley Snipes reprise that role or if I want to see someone different.
as a reboot, my opinion is that either way, I think it's going to be okay. We're going to go watch it anyways because
Yeah.
we're all big Blade fans.
You mean
Morgan
Marvel
Freeman.
fans? I don't know.
Well,
Marvel
yeah,
fans.
Marvel fans, period. But
For the new movie, is it a reboot or
It's
is it a fourth edition?
No, it's a reboot. they're
see,
doing.
that I don't like. If it was a
Because-
4th edition, I would say all both Snipes because
Yeah.
I like Snipes. I think he's a great actor.
Yeah.
But I
It's
think if it's a reboot, they should have him as a cameo, maybe, kind of like.
no, he shouldn't be in it at all then.
Well, yeah, true.
It is a
I agree.
reboot
Just
because
get away from
Marvel
that.
just got the rights back
Yeah.
to Blade. They got that. I think they got a couple other ones back. I can't remember what they were. But I know Blade's the newest one back under... Punisher, obviously.
Punisher.
Punisher,
fantastic.
Blade, and
I
there was
think they got
another...
Ghost Rider back too.
Did they get Ghost Rider? Thank God.
Oh, they're gonna just keep Nick Cage though. He's
I hope
crazy.
they better.
He's
They better
crazy.
keep Nick Cage.
He's gonna his eye pop out. That's
Nick
like.
Cage
But yeah, no,
How'd I get burned? How'd I get burned?
I don't know how I feel about Wesley Snipes coming back to it. I would, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing someone else.
Well,
Yeah.
there was another guy who did Blade in a TV series.
We don't want to talk about that TV
Yeah.
series.
It
It was a terrible, terrible.
I
Yeah.
never watched it.
But that's an example of
Heard
someone
that
else
was
taking.
good.
Yeah, but I mean, we have lots of great actors out there now.
Yeah.
Glenn Howerton.
Morgan Freeman.
Danny Glover.
Yeah.
You get beat by Chris Pratt.
What's his fucking the guy who plays Heimdall.
Idris Elba.
Thank
Yeah.
you. He could even pull off Blade.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely, he could pull off
Idris-
Blade.
I
Idris
haven't
Elba
seen
can
him
pull
a
off
lot
anything.
though.
He is a fantastic.
I've seen him in Thor and I've seen him in Pacific Rim.
No, he's a good actor. Honestly, I
Yes.
think he would have made like one of the best Jon Stewarts out there. But to get out of that contract,
As much as I'm thinking about doing seeing all these different actors do Blade,
100% of the time.
Samuel Jackson.
no, he's Nick Fury. He can't even consider it.
Well, hey, Chris Evans played
Denzel
Human
Washington.
George.
yeah.
No.
with different rights.
Don
right?
Cheadle.
But
I'm sold on Don Cheadle.
Don Cheadle.
Chris Tucker.
I'm still on Chris Tucker. I love Rush Hour.
But I still like Snipes.
And Jackie Chan
I
can be
like-
Whistler.
Oh my
God!
You guys just wrote Blade.
Chris Rock.
Please, Jesus.
No, Chris Tucker and Jackie
Jackie Chris
Chan.
Tucker, yeah.
Chris
Rush Hour.
Rock.
Yeah,
Or Chris Rock.
Chris Rock do it. Yeah, he was just like, I'm
Then
back.
we must
Empire.
Then we might just bring in like Adam Sandler and all them. Too.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Kevin
The world's shortest blade.
They would have to do so many CG to just make that.
He's like 3 feet shorter than all the vampires.
You can put an actual blade of a knife.
Every single
He wasn't ready.
every single scene they'd have to stretch him out. Actually, borrow characters.
That'd be awful.
Oh,
They just have the Tom Cruise zone.
yeah.
Everything's an upward angle.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
But honestly, like another Blade movie, if they do have Snipes in it, it's gonna be Rocky, especially as the main character, because you're gonna associate it with the old ones, right?
Yeah.
He can only be a dead dog for so long, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like,
Snipes is
I
a hard
didn't-
actor to work with as well.
Is he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he is.
He's had a lot of. He went to prison for.
Tax evasion.
Was it just tax?
Yeah, it was just
I thought
tax
it was
Oh, then he's terrible to work.
Yeah.
with.
No,
Oh, he doesn't pay his
I-
taxes.
I actually heard he's not that bad to
Because he
work
produced the Blade TV series, and I heard they had a lot of issues. Like one of the reasons why it didn't work out as well is because he was just a complete.
Well, he's definitely
Allegedly.
I imagine.
Right? Same thing with Christian Bale.
I mean, I don't know Wesley Snipes on a personal level. So.
I imagine prison straight.
I phoned him the other day. He's an asshole.
Posh prison, tax evasion.
Did anybody see the leaked Deadpool video?
Did I ever?
I was unsure of Ryan Reynolds, but that confirmed my I am most definitely hyped up for it now.
Yeah, I seen him in like the Wolverine as Deadpool, and at that part I was like,
we don't like to talk about that.
well, the starting point of Deadpool, he was okay.
Yes.
When he was in the elevator, that kind of stuff, it was
Yeah.
really cool. I enjoyed that part, but at the end, I was like, okay, they just botched it, right?
Is the movie rated R?
Yes.
It's rated
Okay,
R.
then
So-
it has potential then.
So, and after watching the trailer, I think Ryan Reynolds is gonna blow this out of the water. I think
Yeah.
he's perfect for it.
He's a good actor.
funny and amazing.
And he's
actor.
Canadian.
The only thing I was unsure. Yeah, but he hates being Canadian. He hates the fact that he is Canadian.
Well,
Yeah,
I hate him for.
He
hating
absolutely
being
hates the fact he's denounced that on TV in interviews.
So did Jim Carrey though.
Yeah, well, fuck.
Yeah,
Jim
but nobody
Carrey.
cares about Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey's kind of
Jim
flew off the
Carrey.
end
Jim
of
Carrey was great back in the
the
90s.
pier, and he's in Looney Land now.
But
Number 23.
Yeah.
It all equals to 23.
But,
if you add enough numbers together, it'll be 23.
the only one that I like, the reason why I was unsure about Reynolds was mostly just because of his voice, because of the game.
Yeah.
I got so used to Nolan North doing the voice that
Yeah.
North was the voice of Deadpool.
The
to
game
me.
is so good, though, right? Like it's.
We went over this. The game was actually really bad. It was just really well done as far as character.
Yes.
The game mechanics were bad.
The UI and stuff was god awful, but I'm talking about the storyline. I felt like it was pretty funny because it had so much comedy into it.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go
it's
with my
unique
theory
that.
that the game was bad on purpose, just because that's something that would happen with Deadpool.
Yeah.
But I am excited. I mean, the main villain is a guy named Ajax, I think it is.
Oh, Ajax is in this?
Yeah, he's the main villain.
Really?
Yeah. And then they have Colossus will be in there.
Yeah.
Right, I've seen that.
And that nuclear chick,
So
which...
Ajax is gonna be the villain.
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
That could be pretty good. I'm excited now.
Yeah, no,
I'm hoping Cable makes an appearance.
Is there a leaked village scene, like a photo of Ajax?
No, I haven't. I think he might be in that trailer if you watch carefully where he's fighting. I can't remember what Ajax looks like personally.
That's interesting.
But I'm super excited, and I hope that enough people will go and see this movie soon. We can maybe even get a second one out of it.
It's
Yeah.
quite likely. It's a Marvel product. So.
Well, it's the rated R situation,
and
right?
yeah, that is a problem.
But
But,
the
people like Deadpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the Deadpool hype is in full force. Like,
What I'm excited though is if they're starting to do R-rated Marvel movies. Like obviously Punisher was an R-rated one, but that was
But Punisher's going into Daredevil,
right.
into the TV
But
series.
no, I'm not so much saying that part. But I'm saying if they are doing R-rated movies, what are the chances that they're gonna get a Spider-Man Carnage then?
That'd be sweet.
That would be sweet.
Because if that actually comes out, if it's R-rated, 18A or whatever have you, that could possibly pull off a sweet Carnage.
I still need to watch
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It wasn't bad.
It
Who's
Who's
it's
the bad guy?
Electro, Rhino, and
Oh,
Green
yeah.
Goblin.
no, Rhino was not. He was in the after credit scene.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
but-
right. Because it was the big thing with like Jamie Foxx being Electro.
Yeah,
I
but
did-
I thought he was a good Electro.
he was. But it suffered from the whole too many villains at once kind of situation.
Yeah.
As the third one, well, other than the
Is
emo dancing and Tobey
Deadpool
Maguire.
actually
That
being
was the
produced by
best
Marvel
part.
though?
No,
I didn't
it's
think- yeah.
it's Warner Bros. It's the
Yeah.
guys who own X-Men.
Yeah.
And Wolverine is possibly, there's still rumors that Wolverine's going to make a appearance in Deadpool, and there is a possibility.
And that's why they went R with it. Though,
Yeah,
is 'cause
and there's also a possibility of Deadpool making an appearance in the Age of Apocalypse.
It's very likely.
that would be interesting.
Yeah, speaking
Marvel's
of Age
good.
of Apocalypse.
4 Horsemen have been
Horsemen.
announced.
So-
From what I can remember, I know Archangel's in it for
Yeah.
sure. They're going by Angel, they have shown concept art with the metal wings, so Archangel is a
Hopefully, yeah.
go. Storm, Magneto, and I think it's Cyclops is the other one. I'm pretty sure is what I read.
Anyone?
I think so.
I just know the comic one.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
excited for
comic
Age of
ones are
Apocalypse. I've always enjoyed the X-Men movies. They weren't like amazing, mind blowing, except for X-Men Origins.
Yes.
Like
But
First Class?
no, like Wolverine.
Oh,
I love First Class, but they were always entertaining to watch. They were always, they had decent actors, they had decent writing.
Yeah, it's worth a watch, right?
They weren't terrible
Yeah.
movies.
You,
And
you didn't like Days of Tomorrow?
no, I
Days of
love-
Future
Oh,
Past.
Days of Future Past.
Oh, I
Days of Tomorrow.
fucking love that movie. I've watched that movie so many
Yeah,
times.
it's so
The
good.
only one I didn't like was
Oh,
Wolverine.
they didn't like. I thought you said the only one you
Like
did
the
like.
Wolverine.
Both of them. I didn't care for either of the
I liked
Wolverines.
the Wolverine.
Going
The Wolverine was alright the first time I watched it, but the second time I watched it, I caught way too many issues with it, and I noticed all the issues in the movie, and that made me dislike it more.
It takes you out of
going
the
back
world.
to the Days of Future Past, am I the only one who thinks that Peter Dinklage can't act aside from Game of Thrones?
No,
I
absolutely
100%
not.
agree. He is.
Yeah.
Well, no, he actually did a really good job in Knights of Bedastum.
Thank you. Such a sick movie.
Oh, such a,
so good.
Summer Glau close up of her butt.
Oh my
You
god.
think that you were in the movie, Kelly?
Oh no, it was.
I wish I was in the movie.
It's such
Like
a good indie B-rate movie that
B-rate, I say C or D.
Yeah.
And it's still like top 10 indies for me, man. It's so good.
But I mean, like, he had no personality
No.
in Days of
Yeah.
Future Past.
he plays either a really good dwarf in Game of Thrones or a stellar hippie pot smoker.
Yeah, but I mean, he
He either plays a fantastic dwarf or a fantastic different dwarf.
yeah.
So he's really good at being himself.
He's great at
essentially.
himself.
No,
he was awesome in Knights of Adastum. That's why I wanted to go see Pixels, is because he's in it.
Oh.
Pixels looks
To be
good.
fair for Dinklage, though, like the character he played in Days of Future Past is actually a pretty lackluster, bland character.
But he did the
himself,
same
right?
thing as Ghost in Destiny. It was so bland.
But
They also went through development hell. With
Yeah.
it.
and I don't imagine playing the voice of a little floating AI to be all that exhilarating, especially
Wheatley.
yeah. But that's a different style. He's not supposed to be funny.
But
Yeah.
they could have made him. They could have made him like some.
But that's
sitcom.
not the theme they were going for in Destiny. You have to go with the atmosphere.
He did sound like a very good AI in Destiny.
Yeah.
It's just the writing was piss poor. For
It just
him.
sounds like he's reading from a script in a lot of stuff.
Well, what else are you supposed to do when you do voice acting, really?
Well,
Read
actually,
from a script.
no, you do read from a script, but you read it ahead of time and you use it as guidance when you're doing it.
Yeah.
But when you get into it, like you get into
Yeah.
it.
yeah. Well,
Like
like
when I do
Mark
my
Hamill.
You become Batman.
well, no, when I do my amateur stuff, I get right into it. My hands are going. I'm screaming. I'm yelling.
You do voice work?
Yeah, I do amateur voice work.
He's good. He's
I'll set you up after. I'll give you the website and everything. It's right now. It's been lackluster because of that kind of stuff. But anyways, we'll
Good
talk about
couch, green walls.
Yeah. Ooh,
it. Green screen.
it's a casting couch.
It's the
For,
casting.
for your amateur work.
Excellent.
Never in my basement.
Always in your basement.
Literally always.
That's why the roof's white, right?
Yeah. Didn't paint that.
Good roof.
Got him.
No.
Get
That's terrible.
That's disgusting. But I'm excited for Age of Apocalypse, especially because they're bringing back Nightcrawler because he's one of my favorite X-Men.
Yes.
Well, and Jean Grey.
Well,
Jean Grey's coming back.
Yeah, and it's the chick who played Sansa Stark. I can't remember her name.
Her.
She's hot as hell.
Yeah,
Everyone knows who she is. but
Yeah,
no
but
one
she's
knows her
playing
name.
Jean Grey,
Which is gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit of Phoenix then. You never know.
I don't think we're gonna see Phoenix this
Probably
time around.
Not in this movie.
But
But I'm saying,
eventually.
I think coming back, I think.
I don't know if they're gonna do another X-Men after that.
I
or
don't
what their-
know.
what their
It's
plan
possible.
is.
They always say that
Yeah.
they're not going to do it. Then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, we need another $150 million. So let's do another one."
Well, the Age of Apocalypse is one of my favorite kind of one-offs of the X-Men.
Oh, it's so
and
good.
I'm gonna have to go to this movie obviously with different
Expectations.
expectations.
Yeah.
Because one of my favorite characters was actually featured in Days of Future Past, and that's Blink.
Blink.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she was fairly well done, but I don't think we're gonna see her in Apocalypse.
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Which is too bad because I would like to see Cable
Yeah.
because I mean
Well, you'd see X-Man if it was Apocalypse.
yeah, that's true. But I mean, like, I don't know. Cable should be in it because it is Apocalypse, and he does play a big part with the whole fight against Apocalypse.
Cable's in like everything.
I thought Cable was going to be in Days of Future Past. to be
Yeah,
honest.
he should have played a much larger role.
Yeah.
But
He
then
wasn't
they're
in
just
it.
like Wolverine.
He wasn't in it.
Yeah,
Bishop was in it.
that's right too.
Bishop is-
What is white? What is black?
I don't see skin color,
Yeah.
Eric. I see
Deadshot?
everyone as
He is not a racist. You are.
Or is he just a forgetful race?
Yeah. Honestly, though, like Bishop is the key person in Days of Future Past, not
Yeah.
Wolverine. Wolverine has nothing to do
He's
with
also
it.
the key person in Age of Apocalypse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like he better have a role in it, but it's gonna be fucking Hugh Jackman again.
Well, because Hugh Jackman sells, right? And that's
Yeah.
what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
That's what I really hated with Robert Downey Jr. and the Avengers. The first Avengers. I thought they did a good job with the second one, but the first one, it just felt like RDJ featuring Friends.
Yeah, Robert
It's
Downey
true,
Jr.
yeah. It's Iron Man standalone. But
But
Yeah.
see, that's Tony Stark. He has to be the center of attention.
But not in the Avengers.
no.
Not in the Avengers. In the Avengers, it's everyone. Everyone
Yeah.
plays a huge role.
No, Tony Stark tries to,
Yeah.
but then Cap Right.
It's always Captain America and Iron Man, and then everyone else's background noise.
Hence Civil War.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what's going to be awesome.
Which I can't wait for. And speaking of Civil War, Ant-Man comes out right away. God, that fucking hurts.
Good work.
I'm excited.
Yeah, Ant-Man's going to be a really, really good, unique movie.
I'm
I
hoping,
think-
I
I'm hoping
was
it's going
not-
to be another Guardians of the Galaxy.
I was not hyped for that movie till I saw the trailer for it.
Paul
and-
Rudd's
Are
awesome.
you
too.
kidding me? The train running them over on the tracks.
But I didn't see the they announced, oh, we're doing Ant-Man. I don't like Ant-Man. I
That's
never
true.
thought he was an interesting character, other than the fact that he's the original creator of Ultron.
Yeah.
But, and
Hank
then
Pym?
I watched the trailer, and I was like, you know what, this looks like it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's
I
the
was
bad
very-
guy? Yellow Jacket?
The bad guy, from what I understand,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
actually Hank Pym. Because
Oh.
the main character's name is not Hank Pym.
Spoilers!
But Michael Douglas is Hank Pym, and he's the one that hires Paul
Yeah.
Rudd.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
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 I'm confused then from
He's
what
the
I
one
heard.
that tells him
Yeah,
about
no,
the,
it's-
he's like,
Yellow Jacket.
yeah, I'm done breaking into buildings and stealing stuff. What do you want me to do? I want you to break and build and steal stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless there's a twist.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Paul Rudd's the bad guy.
See, and that's what we're talking about. Paul Rudd is, that's also, we led into it. Paul Rudd's such a use of kind of comedy role. He's really getting outside of his element by playing this kind of character.
Yeah.
And seeing if he can live up to, high
The
expectations.
rest of the cast of the Marvel
Right, and I
universe.
think he's
Yeah.
going to knock it out of the park. I think
Me
he's going to
too.
be really good here.
Well, I don't know. I think there seems to be a little bit of comedy in there too. So
Yeah.
There is.
Well-
But it looks to be a good mix of
Yeah.
comedy
Right,
and
It's,
right.
not,
take.
it's,
bit
not
lighter,
that,
yeah.
it's not that awkward comedy that he does.
It's
Yeah.
not this is 40, or knocked up or whatever.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Marvel taking some. I mean, Ant-Man's always not like lesser known, but to the mainstream, he would be just like Guardians was. I mean, nobody knew. Like, I'm a big Marvel fan, and I didn't really know much about Guardians, and it was a huge success.
And I think that's the same thing for Ant-Man because
Yes,
it's going to be a huge standalone. Yeah.
And I
agree
mean, they're
with
doing
that.
Black Panther, who's not like a real mainstream character.
Aquaman.
I think
Come on.
I think that's debatable though, because
Yeah.
Ant-Man has always been a part of the Avengers, and so was Black Panther.
But
So-
unless you read the comics, you
But
wouldn't.
no, they were in the animated TV shows twice. After when they did the re-roll, they had in the '90s, early 2000s, they had an Avengers TV series where Ant-Man led the Avengers because Captain America was gone,
But-
and then they did another, and then when they did the animated movies, Ant-Man, Black Panther. When they did not the Avengers Assemble, but the one before that, they had Black Panther. So
But what I'm saying is, if you go up to Joe Blow on the street and ask about Captain America or Iron Man, they're going to know who he is.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you ask someone about Ant-Man,
But the same could be said about Hawkeye or Black Widow. The only reason why they're better known now is because they've been on the big screen.
well,
But they've always been in all the Avengers.
I think Black Panther is going to be good, but to us, right? The
Who
people
is
that
playing
have done the
Black
comics
Panther?
and stuff. And I agree with him when he says,
I don't
I
think
can't
he's been
remember his
casted.
name. No, he has.
Has he been
Yeah,
casted?
he's been cast. I can't remember his name though. Sorry. But I agree with you. If you walk up, not so much Ant-Man. I think people would understand Ant-Man, but Black Panther's.
They wouldn't know anything about it.
I mean, he's a B-rated superhero, right? Like he's not.
Is he even a superhero?
Well, he's
Well,
the,
he's
he's
Is
the
he just like a...
he's the head of Wakanda, where all the
Right.
vibranium's from.
Vibranium.
Yeah.
From
But
Captain
I mean,
America.
he doesn't have any superpowers.
Well, he does.
Yeah.
He actually
Like super strength.
he's fast. He's got
Agile.
I thought he
Agile,
was just like a almost Captain America
no.
level.
He takes on like he got like the shamanistic spirit animal
Oh,
thing
okay.
going.
but like I mean, the Inhumans are fairly obscure. Like
Yeah,
to
the
the
Inhumans.
mainstream.
The Inhumans are Guardians of the
You
Galaxy.
know, even
Yeah.
even Doctor Strange. I mean, I know Doctor Strange, but I couldn't really tell you much about him.
Yeah,
Strange
but,
Lawyer?
I mean, like I said, outside of Captain America and Iron Man, like a lot of you can say that about pretty much everyone of the Marvel universe, unless you've read the comics or anything like that. Like pretty much everything's obscure. But if you're looking at real obscure, Guardians of the Galaxy, Inhuman, Doctor Strange, not so much. Same with Black Panther and Ant-Man.
But I think what they were trying to do with Guardians, I think, is they were trying to make like not just a superhero movie, but just kind of a space adventure that was fun for people who weren't into superheroes.
It was one of the
For
best
the layman.
sci-fi movies, I think, since like Star Trek and
Yeah.
Star Wars.
And it wasn't
and
even
stuff.
trying to be a sci-fi.
No,
movie.
it wasn't, and it really appealed to that audience too. So they really got that fan base coming off on it.
Oh,
too.
absolutely.
And it was so well done. Like the humor
Oh.
was so well
Yeah.
placed,
Yeah.
and the action.
The people they got for like the actors, it was the character seemed written for the actors,
Right.
and not just let's write a character, grab an actor.
And they perfectly mesh with one another too.
Yeah.
And Chris Pratt is such a good Star Lord.
He's just a good actor.
He is.
Person all around.
Chris Pratt
Who?
is the man.
Yeah.
The bros to bros.
The weakest, the one I found the
I got an
weakest
album for him.
was the chick who played Gamora.
Zoe Saldana.
Yeah, Zoe
She was the weakest link in that group. She was good, but in comparison
Yeah.
to
Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I am Groot.
okay, well, yeah, but
Like,
That
that's
doesn't really count.
That's
yeah.
career ending if you can't beat Groot.
To be fair though,
Time
to
to
be fair,
go
to
home.
be fair, he recorded that on like every other language. than
Yes.
Aaron did.
So he did more work than anyone else.
Yeah.
Depends how you look
But,
at
Well,
it.
sort of.
but
Yeah.
in comparison to the way their characters
Yeah.
fit, she was the only one that seemed the weakest link out of the group.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think it's also written that way because she's a female protagonist. Sadly,
No, she's pretty badass in the comics.
She's
There we go.
absolutely a
He has
badass, you're right.
success.
Yeah, there we go.
but I mean, like in those things, like often the female is just whatever, which is
I
fine.
think it's
if
more-
actually how it is.
What about Black Widow?
But she's
Yeah,
not.
have you
She's a
seen
badass.
Black Widow or Scarlet Witch? Both those girls.
Black
are pretty
Widow. Black
badass.
Widow's kind of a whore.
That's
Just
fine.
because
Yeah, but
she's
I-
with
Okay,
Thor.
Jeremy Renner.
I think it's more that with.
I don't think they know what they're doing with her yet.
No, they.
I think it's just because how she. What's Gamora's her name?
Yeah.
I think it's just because how it started, how she kind of started.
Well, I'm
for.
not saying she's bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying out of the group, she is the weakest link.
Yeah.
I think in the context of that movie, like Zoe Saldana, she might be a fine, passable actress, but given the context of the movie, I don't think Gamora really had a lot to work with in that movie.
That's the
Yeah.
other thing. Is that
And
the
her
character
intro
itself-
was really.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Her intro was go kill this guy,
Yeah,
and then it just instantly went from her trying to kill him to
Yeah.
being BFFs.
it was very lackluster.
So that's so.
It was a shared intro with the other daughter, the blue one.
Yeah.
Nebula.
Nebula. That's the name. I couldn't think of it.
The overgrown Smurf.
But Bradley Cooper blew me away as Rocket.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was him. Like
Bradley Cooper is very good at going out of his element.
I didn't. I
brilliant actor.
I
He
didn't.
is.
I never expected that out of him. Like he's a good actor, absolutely. But the voice acting he did was phenomenal.
I think he would have been. I don't see him ever doing anything really that bad.
No, but it's just something I've never seen him do.
I think Rocket was easily like the best character,
Him and Drax.
developed character.
Drax was
Drax.
awesome.
Drax was great.
Batista. What's his first name?
Dave.
Just
Dave-
Batista.
Just Dave. Just his last name.
See, I just want to mention when we talked about this the first time when I talked about Dave Batista, you fuckers made fun of me
No, I liked it.
for talking about Batista.
So that's
all the
because you were
time.
like falling in love with him.
Yeah, that's because you're a wrestling fan.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
the
just like,
problem with that.
oh my god, a wrestler's gonna act in a movie!
Actually, no. Going into it, I thought he was gonna be terrible.
Quit trying to get vengeance for my comments earlier.
But Guardians was great. I enjoyed that, and I think the same thing with Doctor Strange. Let's talk about Doctor Strange with Cumberbatch. I think he's going to be a
I
brilliant.
think he's gonna kill it.
Cumberbatch.
Oh,
yeah.
Cucumber back.
Cumberbatch, yeah.
With his Cumberbitches.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I just think like he plays such a good Sherlock, right? Like,
Yeah.
and I
And he was
think
great in imitation.
And he was
Mhm.
awesome as Khan.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Khan, he was brilliant as
Oh,
Khan.
brilliant.
So I think he's just really going to bring that aspect or next level, I guess. I
Yeah,
should say.
I don't-
Next level to the Marvel universe.
I don't think they could have picked a better person to play.
He's
Doctor
sophisticated. And
Yeah,
He is.
it's
he's
the
like
very
Doctor Strange.
sophisticated.
sophisticated. It's kind of the background in the
Well, it's
classical acting.
It's
Yeah.
funny
Sophisticated
with
wittiness,
Yeah,
right?
it's-
Like it's
yeah.
both
It's
those,
funny with Doctor Strange because if you've read back in the comics, he's actually an arrogant prick
Yeah,
that ends up getting his hands fucked up, and that's why he
Yeah,
actually
he's a
ends up.
surgeon.
he was a surgeon. right?
Yeah, and he was one of the best in the world, but he fucked his hands up so bad because of a car accident. He ends up traveling the world, and that's where he ends up learning the mystical arts.
So have they confirmed the villain? Is it Dormammu?
Sure as
I
hell.
hope so.
Please tell me it's
I
Dormammu.
hope so.
I think Dormammu was one of his like big villains.
Is
That's
his major one.
It's his
Yeah.
main
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
If anything, they'll do like the storyline where he, gets his hands broken, goes to the temple, and the wise one or whatever, the leader of the group, ends up choosing him to become.
Yeah, they've confirmed that
And
because
then they'll
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton, yeah.
Yeah,
is
and then
going to
they'll-
be the ancient one.
Yeah, and then they'll have like because in the story he has the one guy who's like he's one of the best warriors in the group. He knows he's supposed to be next in line, but he's actually not. Really?
We're all doing this. we have all been doing this. We just all decided to imitate you for whatever reason.
I don't know.
I'm doing this too. I do
His
this.
hands are broken.
He was just doing it too. He was just been like, so I was just getting in on that.
Tai Chi and fast forward.
Yeah. Jackie Chan should have been the ancient one.
One more thing, Jackie!
Hopefully the Doctor Strange movie does really well.
Yeah.
And they can push forward the greatest Marvel short series ever, Thor Vikings. Yes.
If it's got Vikings in it, I'm behind it all the way.
Not just Vikings.
Oh!
Not just Vikings.
Oh.
Zombie Vikings.
Even better. So, but I don't know if anyone here watches Vikings, like
The show.
the show.
Yeah.
Keith,
They-
fill me in on this.
It literally follows the legacy of Ragnar Lothbrok, who was an actual Viking, and his sons Bjorn Ironside,
Right.
and them going into England and basically riding in the ship.
It's really good, eh?
It's fucking amazing.
Mhm.
And I just saw the newest trailer for it, and my beard grew a couple more inches, my chest got a little more burlier. I had to listen to a Monomarth right after watching it, like get my inner Viking
So
going.
this is season 1 or 2 now?
It's season 4 now.
Yes.
4?
4.
Oh, I gotta get up on
And
that.
Oh, we
Tap
got
my
catching
keg of
up to.
But it is the show came out of nowhere, and it is literally like
That's
Game of
awesome.
Thrones. Vikings is right behind it, just less sex.
Yeah, it just like slipped right into there, right?
It did.
And it's from the History Channel.
Game of Thrones, The Strain, Vikings. I love The Strain.
I've never
I
watched
love
The
The
Strain.
It is so good. Season 2 starts tonight.
Well, I may have to actually check that out because I
The
have heard.
Strain.
Tonight, as of the recording, not as of the...
Yeah.
No, whenever you're watching this, tonight.
Yeah,
Look for it.
Peter Dinklage.
Someone's gonna be on their TV after this, being like, "Where's the strain?
Where's it?
But no,
They
I'm,
lied to
I'm,
me. Who watches television?
I'm a huge Guillermo del Toro fan, and he was his co-producer,
Oh well, then I'll
co-writer on it.
definitely.
And yeah, and everything on it bleeds through his touch.
What's
like,
the plot?
Day 0 of Vampire Apocalypse.
Oh well, then I'll have to check it out because I am a huge Del Toro fan
What kind of
myself.
vampires are we talking about?
Like
Are they
Underworld or like Van
Are
Helsing?
we talking
30 Days a
Vampire
Night?
the Masquerade, or are we talking like...
Twilight?
No.
Are we
No,
talking
these
about
are
Team Jacob all the way.
no, these
Team
are
Belmont.
ancient Romanian Strigoi.
So it's like the old
Feral.
aristocratic
Old original.
vampires? Or...
No, these are feral. They run out and they kill you. You'll be infected.
Kind of like
You'll
that.
kill that. You'll kill.
30 Days a
Priest
Night.
movie.
Yeah, 30
Yeah.
days a night. That's
Yeah,
what
and kind of
30 Days a
like
Night?
Josh Hart.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That'd be actually really
I will have to download the entire
And
first
it's
season.
it's
Download.
like
Don't do that. Don't download.
Illegally. Download legally.
Download legally. Netflix. It's great.
And there's a whole
You don't
backstory
download from
with
Netflix.
with Nazis and a Polish and concentration camp guy, and there's a CDC guy and a New York City rat catcher, and all these guys that are just trying to survive
Yeah.
day one of
Vampire
the vampire apocalypse.
So it's like The Walking Dead, but with vampires?
And the new season comes out?
New season starts tonight,
That's awesome.
and yeah, it's kind of like The Walking Dead,
With vampires.
sounds
But with
really good.
but
vampires.
with vampires. Yeah.
Which is much more terrifying. The
Yeah.
Zombies are like slow, shambling hordes,
Yeah.
whereas vampires are like ruthless, horrible, powerfully killing machines.
Did you ever see the Ultimate Warrior episode when it was zombies versus vampires?
When you said Ultimate Warrior?
I was thinking
immediately
that.
thought you meant the wrestling.
I'm pretty sure he was on cartoon in like the 90s.
No, but yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But all seriously,
Yeah.
they showed that it was worth a watch to see like the difference between zombies and
Oh, yeah.
vampires. It's like basically it
Yeah.
comes down to quality versus quantity.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
what it is, right? Zombies, it's like there's 10,000 of them
Yeah.
down that
Yeah.
hallway.
Yeah.
Vampires, there's 2.
Yeah, and the strain does a good job because the vampire hierarchy, they're manipulative, they're the ones in charge, but all the recently turned ones, they're the bloodthirsty. They're just gonna go and infect
Just
everyone
watch
around.
out.
It is
Yeah.
Vampire the Masquerade then. Where like new vampires
Or
are
Twilight.
just insane.
Yeah, from Twilight.
And then like the ones that have been that have been afflicted with vampirism for a long time are like just ridiculous, like the hierarchy of super powerful
Yeah.
and just sit above and
this is
manipulate.
gonna make it or break it. Do they glitter?
They do not glitter.
I'm watching it.
Yeah, man.
What if they fall into a vat?
I'm in like Flynn.
Has he been going to high school for 1,400 years?
Just to find out one special girl.
I thought it was 700 years.
Is it? I don't
has
read Twilight.
although he
Eric
has
has watched Twilight more than
I've
you.
watched
Secret.
I have watched all the Twilight because my fiance is a
Yeah,
fan.
he's
You
married.
watched
It
them
doesn't matter.
more than once.
That's what he
Two.
says, though.
Meanwhile, he introduced it.
You know what? I think let's watch Twilight tonight.
I went to Twilight, the first one, with my best friend because we saw the trailer and we had no idea what Twilight was and we thought it looked good. And boy, were we wrong!
Why is there so many 14-year-old girls here?
Dude, why are we the only two guys?
I feel bad.
That's a classic definition of getting duped.
Yeah, that was me and Mr. Dick.
That is unfortunate.
Why
But it
does
does
old
happen.
men here?
It was
How
fun.
could you not see that coming?
I just saw a vampire movie. It was back when I actually thought vampires were cool.
Vampire versus
Well,
werewolf.
that, like, you go to the theater.
No,
like,
no.
I don't know what's out.
In the trailer, all you really saw was like the little when they line up on in the foggy field and they kind of rush each other or run at each other. It looked like it was like an action movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just like perfect.
You know the guy with the trailer was like, watch us fool so many people.
Yeah.
We're gonna make this trailer and we're gonna dupe all the guys out there who actually like vampires.
Joe, I want you to make the most misleading trailer ever.
And they got me.
They used 5 seconds of actual
It
footage.
was the worst.
So we talk a lot about movies and stuff like that. So there's a lot of good stuff coming up for movies. Gaming. I know there's a major one that Tyler wants to talk about that he's really super excited.
Well, there's
So,
games.
There you go.
Siege of Dragons Fair. Adding 70 new levels. 7 new chapters. That's 7. 2 new modes, which is super cool. That game is fucking fantastic. Go play Baldur's Gate
Yeah.
right now. And if you have not played it, like I said, just go play it.
Baldur's Gate's always been a huge thing, and it's always been around the nerd
Yeah.
verse, right? Like
It was like
well,
one of the original big RPGs that
right,
that brought a lot of like gamers into that hadn't played D&D.
and
It
it's
was-
tough.
And it was also one of the first games that BioWare ever did.
Also,
Right, yeah.
yeah, it was originally made by Black Isle, which was
was-
part of BioWare.
Yeah.
It
And
became
then
BioWare.
Became BioWare.
Did they make the second Knights of the Old Republic?
No, that was
No.
Obsidian.
They
Yeah,
did
so
Bioshock, didn't
BioWare did Bioshock.
Yeah.
No, BioWare did Mass Effect.
they? Mass Effect. Sorry,
Yes.
that's what I meant to say. Not
I
Bioshock.
always confuse that
Obsidian,
because they
yeah.
had 5.
Obsidian and KOTOR too.
But yeah,
Right.
like the new Baldur's Gate, they haven't released a lot for it yet. There's a new class, a bunch of new difficulties. It basically doubles the content of the old game. And there's no release date as of yet, but that game's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good one.
One big disappointment for me is Star Citizen has been delayed indefinitely,
Because Star Marines failed.
and they also lost one of their designers.
Yes, Alex something, I can't remember. He was the executive producer, basically.
Yeah, and that was from earlier podcast was a game I was looking forward to because I'm big into the space sim.
Yeah.
So it really sucks because I've heard a lot of great things from people who've been playing in the alpha and the betas.
Yeah.
That the game was coming along really nicely and the combat was awesome. The ship designs were gorgeous.
Yep.
And there was a lot that they want to do with the game, like multi-person battleships.
That's still in there. Like, there's still the space combat, but the FPS side, which is the Space Marine, I believe they're calling it,
yeah.
that mode has flopped due to frame rate issues,
Yeah.
compatibility issues,
That's
lag. Yeah.
But
That's really tough
it
for-
sucks, but honestly, it's not a big deal to me because I came for the game to play the space sim.
But the
Yeah.
problem is, like, there's $100 million worth of crowdfunded money into that game.
And it's gone.
Well,
And
it's
yeah,
not
it's, at this
gone.
point, it's indefinitely suspended until they can, rework
Fix it.
that
Figure
out.
it out, right?
But
Yeah.
that comes down to how much they're trying to do with this game too, right?
True.
There's never been a release date for Star Citizen. It comes out when it comes out.
But $100 million though, like
Yeah.
Have you seen what they're doing with it though?
But
Oh,
they
have-
they had a release date for a test mode of Space Marine in April. That has never happened, and now they've suspended indefinitely.
Yeah.
That says a lot to
Yeah.
your fan base.
and it's like pushed like you all this hype to play this game, and all of a sudden it's like,
Yeah.
we're not even gonna
Yeah.
give you a date.
Yeah,
now.
and then it's
Like,
up in the air, and then like, how do you PR that? How do you manage that?
I'm not saying it's not gonna be tough.
Yeah,
But
it
with,
might happen.
with,
Yeah,
with the size and scope of the game, like
Yeah.
they have a single player component, which was Squadron 49 or whatever, where you play through a story. But then they had the multiplayer component, which was basically a huge open galaxy or universe.
Which I'm looking forward to, right? Because now I was looking forward to play that part of it, and then I was going to also look forward to doing No Man's Sky too, and see the comparison of it. Like, I mean, there's two different concepts, right?
If you want to give it a comparison, just go pick up Elite Dangerous.
Yeah,
Elite Dangerous is exactly what Star Citizen's trying to become.
Yeah, but I wanted to see the finish of both, right? And just to see.
The No Man's Sky is still up in the air for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we go, there's one game I want to mention. I've been thinking about it all week for this podcast because it blows my mind. It's a mod for Portal 2 that just came out this week called Portal Stories Mel. This was made by 6 people, I do believe.
Yeah.
And you can tell it's obviously not as polished as, say, like Portal 2. Like, the textures are a little low res and whatnot. Yeah. But just for such a feat of so few people, within like 3 years, I think, or something like that, I've been playing for maybe 2 hours of it so far, and it's Portal, and I love it.
This is like 2-player co-op and all that?
No, it's another story.
Okay.
In the Portal universe.
It's just modded,
It's
right?
single player.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like you need Portal 2 to play it, but it's a single player mod, but it delves deeper into Aperture. You play, I'm assuming, as Mel. They haven't actually come out and said who Mel is, but yeah, it's just her waking up in the Aperture test chamber, and things have gone to hell, of course. And,
Which is Portal universe.
And I mean, Portal is such a fun time to play, and it's such a time sink, right? So,
but I just think these people deserve recognition for just doing this.
They did a good job.
And it's fully voice acted, and
that's cool.
Everything like that. So
nice.
Non-profit too? Like it would be just.
I don't know if it's
most mods. I feel still have to be non-profit until they can finally slide that in, which should have happened when Skyrim happened.
There's so many mods for that game. In Skyrim.
I mean, like you should be able to charge for that. Give people the right to charge for the content they create. Otherwise, you're going to lose that community because that community is fantastic.
But I definitely recommend it. If you like Portal 2, it's a lot of fun.
You hear to hear. Go check it out.
I'm definitely down.
I hated Portal 2.
And absolutely last thing before we go, we can't forget about good old Faithful. Made $5.7 million on the Kickstarter. Bloodstained!
Woo! Another thing we should mention, actually, the main event over Bloodstained. The death of Iwata.
Cut that. It didn't happen. I don't want it to happen. Yeah, that was awful.
Yeah.
Sad day.
On the 11th, Sakura Iwata.
Sakura
Iwata. Yeah, Satoru Iwata.
Yeah, the president of Nintendo.
President
passed away.
CEO.
Yeah.
The Nintendo will say.
Yeah.
The Nintendo.
Yeah, the Nintendo.
The man who brought such fine people like me.
Are they going to make Reggie the president now?
Narcissistic son of a...
I don't know if I'd say he's a fine person, but I mean, I'm talking about Frodo.
Yeah,
obviously.
Reggie should run the company.
Reggie should run the company.
My body is Reggie.
Reggie should be the president of the United States.
My puppet body is ready.
Why is he not running?
No, but,
He's running the North American one.
No, I meant for president.
Of the United States.
I'd vote for him.
And Prime Minister of Canada at the same time.
Absolutely.
He could run both countries.
I'm okay with that.
For sure.
But make sure you like, share, and comment below. You can also follow us on Twitter at Game Jockeys as well as on Facebook. So until next time, I'm Eric.
Tyler.
Jared.
Kurt.
Barkley.
And Kelly.
We'll see you next time.
Later.
False.